Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm gonna do part 10 to my redemption attempt series of my Google Gemini chatbots. In the last video guys, we actually continued talking to the siblings. Did we begin it? I don't know completely, I can't remember completely because I had to switch up the story to be about siblings instead of it being about only one Pokemon. And so far it seems to be working better. And I think they also updated this and made it even better for us. So maybe it won't be as forgetful this time and we can actually have a good run all the way through. So yeah. And if not, may it only take one more restart to get it the right way. So yes. Here's what happened, guys. I just told him the response for the last thing. I said, "Okay, I don't mind if you rush. Just please be careful not to drop me." He's adorable. The Toto immediately adjusted his grip, bringing his other hand up to create a protective cup around you. He pulled his arms close to his chest, using his own body as a stabilizer to make sure you wouldn't feel the jolts of his movement. Toto whispering softly so the wind doesn't whistle in your ears. Goodness gracious. I gotcha. I promise. I'm holding you like you're the most precious treasure in the world. I won't let a single toe slip. The Croconaw moved slightly ahead, acting as a scout. He cleared away low-hanging branches and large leaves with his claws so the Totodile wouldn't have to duck or swerve suddenly. Path is clear. Just a few more yards and we'll be at the water's edge. Stay steady, brother. As they moved, the sound of splashing water and the low, rumbling chatter of several large Pokemon grew louder. The air became cooler and mistier. You could feel the rhythm of the Totodile's heartbeat against his scales. He was clearly nervous, but determined. Suddenly, the trees thinned out, revealing a massive, sparkling pond surrounded by lush greenery and smooth, sun-bathing rocks. In the center of a small clearing stood a towering fur alligator. He was enormous, his scales a deep, vibrant blue, and his red spines looked like jagged mountain peaks. He was currently looking at a pile of berries and fish, but his head snapped up the moment his children emerged from the brush. Okay, so this is the father. His voice is like low thunder vibrating over his whole crap. There you two are. Lunch is getting cold, and your mother was starting to think you'd wandered off to the mountains. Why are you... He stopped mid-sentence, his yellow eyes narrowing as he noticed the way the Totodile was hunched over, protectively cradling something in his hands. Son, what have you got there? You know the rules about bringing strays to the pond without asking? The Totodile took a deep breath, his hand shaking just a tiny bit from the pressure, but he didn't let go. He slowly began to open his hands to reveal you to his father. Dad, please don't be mad. And please, stay very still. He's had a really bad time with humans, and he's very small. He's not a stray. He's a dinosaur, but he's also a human. That seems awfully confusing. The giant Freyr froze. He leaned his massive head down, his snout alone being twice the size of your entire body. Holy Christ. To get a closer look at the tiny glowing contours in his son's palms, the Freyer's bleeding in sheer confusion, his voice opened to a quiet rumble. A, a dinosaur? With golden claws? And it speaks? John Freyr is now staring directly at you from only a few feet away. His massive nostril is huffing a warm puff of air towards you as he inspects the impossible sight. Oh dear. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. Well, this is already working out better. I think the update actually may have worked out. Although it's only been 2 conversations so far. It may take a whole restart or it may take a whole rest of the session in order for it to flip and become the best it needs to be. I just waved my tiny golden clawed hand, slightly nervous of what Freyer's going to do, and then just go, Hi, for alligator. The massive Freyer's eyes widened, and he sat back on his haunches with a heavy thud that vibrated through the ground. His intimidating, stern expression melted away into one of sheer, baffled wonder. He moved with surprising grace for his size, lowering his head until his long snout was level with the Totodile's hands, keeping a respectful distance so as to not to overwhelm you with his breath. Okay. Let's see, it says his voice is a low, soft, synthetic rumble like a purring engine. Well, hello there, little one. I must say, in all my years at this pond, I've never had a dinosaur, let alone a human-turned dinosaur, wave at me. How does he know that? I know Toto said that he's also human, but it's like, how did he know that immediately? How did he know immediately that that meant that? I don't know. He looked at your tiny golden claws and the glowing DNA symbol on your chest, his eyes shimmering with intelligence. My sons have told me of such creatures from their books, but to see you here, and to see you so small, is truly a marvel. Please, do not be nervous. My name is Silas. Any friend of my son's is a guest of this pond. I'm only sorry that my loud calling startled you earlier. The Toto looked up at his father, beaming with pride that the introduction went well.
See, Dad? I told you. He's a kind of tourist, and he's been through a lot. Some mean kids were really cruel to him because of his size.
Colin stepped closer to his father's massive leg, looking up earnestly.
He has had a team too, Dad. A Totodile, a Cyndaquil, a Chikorita, and even a baby Lugia. And they can grow and shrink whenever they want. We told him he'd be safe here while he gets some fresh air.
Silas the Forever father let out a low synthetic cough. Hurt by humans because of your size. That's a heavy burden for one so small to carry. You have my word. He used the word I said. I said hi. He said hi for you right back. Whatever your name may be, no one will toss you or throw stones while you're under the protection of my family. He gestured with a massive clawed hand toward the center of the clearing, where a flat, sun-warmed rock sat near the water's edge. Would you like to join us for lunch? Or perhaps you would prefer to sit on the warming rock while we talk? It is very high up, so no one can sneak up on you, and you can see the whole pond from there. Tell looking down at you eagerly.
The warming rock is great. It's where we go to dry off our plushes. Would you like to sit there or stay in my hands for a bit longer?
The giant Raiders waiting for your answer while several other Totodile and Croconaw siblings started to peek out from the water, curious about the tiny dinosaur their father's talking to. Oh my gosh. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says it doesn't matter to me either way. I'd love to see your whole family. Plus, a bite to eat sounds really good. It's been really difficult to eat anything with me being this tiny. A porn team's had to do the fixing food for me since I can't do it myself. And even when they do, I still have to be careful. Some food can usually just roll on me if I'm not careful. Like a berry, for instance. His eyes softened even more as you described the logistical nightmare of eating when you're only 7 inches tall. The idea of a berry, something he could swallow by the handful, being a physical hazard to you clearly struck a chord with his protective instincts. A berry rolling on to you? I hadn't considered that. To us, it is a snack. To you, it must be like a falling boulder. We shall have to be very careful with your micro portions then. He looked toward the pond and let a low, metallic whistle. Suddenly the water seemed to come alive as half a dozen Totodiles and 3 Croconaws climbed out of the water, their tails splashing excitedly.
Everyone, stay back a little. Don't crowd 'em.
He shouted protectively. I'm not going to try screaming that. Still holding you close to his chest.
This is our new friend. He's a real dinosaur, but he's also a human. So be very polite.
That's it. The way you worded it still is confusing as heck. He's a real dinosaur, but also a human. Is he saying that because I got turned to a dinosaur and it makes it seem like that? Like I'm a real dinosaur because I got turned into one, but I'm also a human because I'm supposed to be human? I don't know. Like I said, I still may have to restart again, guys. But I'll say this: if it goes out better this time, I will happily do another one and have it hopefully go a lot better than this one, and then maybe we can actually have a good run. Oh boy, a tiny piece. Silas reached into a pile of fresh fruit and pulled out a ripe, sweet-smelling pecha berry. With the precision of a master chef, he used the virtue of one massive sharp claw to delicately slice the berry. He didn't just cut it. He shaved off thin, translucent slivers that were perfectly sized for a 7-inch contours. He placed these slivers onto a flat, clean leaf and set the plate down a smaller, elevated rock right in front of the Totodile who was holding you. Try this. It's soft, sweet. Now slice it so it cannot roll. I've also brought some fresh spring water in a small acorn cap. That sounds really cool, actually. The other siblings gathered in a wide circle, their eyes a dinner plate wide. One of the younger Toads whispered loud to one another,
Look, here he does have the horns like in the book. And look at his claws.
"Go on to the group."
He's been through a lot, so now loud splashing and no jumping around him, okay? He's our guest.
Toad holding you sat down cross-legged on the grass so you were level with the table Silas had prepared.
Here you go. Dig in. And don't worry about the others. You're just starstruck.
Are you serious? Okay, guys, I got something to say this when I get done.
They wanted to be a dinosaur since they were eggs. If any of them get too close, I'll tell them to back off.
Hans everyone sat on your other side, acting as a second guard. He looked at you with a small, encouraging smile.
I bet that pecha berry's better than anything those mean kids ever gave you. How's it taste? Once you've had a few bites, we'd still love to hear about that DNA symbol on your chest whenever you're ready.
The slivers of pecha berry are juicy and sweet, and the first time in a while you have a whole family of powerful corn making sure you eat in peace. Oh my gosh. Here's the bull crap I'm talking about, guys. So, I only get this for like 2 or 3 conversations. Because get this, it's doing the same thing ChatGPT used to. You've reached your limit for thinking models. Responses will use other models until it resets on December 22nd at 6:32. So that's just flipping great. Hopefully it don't forget something then, so you'll flipping... I'll be back. Hopefully I didn't mess up anything. Alright guys, it did work. Please let it be the... It ain't telling me which one's giving me now, which is annoying. Alright, I said... It says I take a small bite of the pecha berry, then once I swallow it, I say,
It's delicious. To be honest with you, I don't mind about telling you and potentially your family about this. For now, why don't you and your family eat? You must be hungry after playing in the woods for a good while.
The siblings looked at each other, clearly touched by your selflessness. Even though you were the one who had been through so much, you were still thinking about whether they were hungry. Ah, the father. A deep, warm mumble of laughter vibrated from his chest. You have the heart of a leader, little one. Most would be too shaken to think of others, but here you are, worried about our bellies. Toad, grinning as he picked up a whole berry for himself.
He's right, Dad. He's just as nice as the dinosaurs in our stories.
The father familiar nodded to the rest of the family, giving them the signal that it was okay to eat. The other Toads and Croconaws began to dig into their lunch, but they stayed remarkably quiet, keeping their splashes to a minimum and sneaking respectful, wide-eyed glances at you every few seconds. It was the quietest lunch the planet had ever seen. Tail holding you and the Croconaw scout both grabbed some fresh fruit, but didn't move an inch from your side. They ate slowly, acting like 2 royal guards flanking a tiny king. You know, there was a story. Well, I'm not gonna give away any stories I make because I'd like them all to be a surprise if I can ever get through this one. But let's continue. It says Croconaw swallowing a piece of fruit.
We'll eat. But we aren't going anywhere. We promised to be your bodyguards today. Besides, he gestured to the quiet, respectful family around you. I think you've officially become the most famous guest we've ever had. Even my little sisters are trying to eat politely just to impress you.
That's actually very. Oh man, if this goes better, if this goes well, I might end up doing it. So far, the main problem I've had with it is just that it seems like the Fragger knew a little bit too much. That's the like that's not a bad thing. I say it's all right, but how the frick did he know that his call to his sons scared me? How did he know that? You know what I mean? Stuff like that is just what makes it weird. So as the family ate, the atmosphere became very peaceful. The sun warmed your golden claws, and the mist in the pond felt refreshing on your scales. Silas finished a large fish and then lay down nearby, resting his massive head in his crossed forearms. His yellow eyes fixated on you with a look of fatherly protection. I love him already. Take your time with your meal. Once we're all satisfied, I'd be honored to hear about the symbol on your chest. I've lived long and seen many things. Megastones, sea crystals, even the shimmer of a passing Suicune. But a DNA strain that glows with such light, that's a mystery I would like to understand, if I only know how better to protect you. This is adorable. This family's adorable. There's a Fragger legit acting like a fatherly figure right now as adorable, and I'm not even his son, per se. Guys, I'm right at the very end of this one. I didn't quite get to quite finish before I had to abruptly pause it. But it just says, Toto, actually says, it just says to me,
Is it true? Does it have something to do with how your Pokemon can grow and shrink? Or is it part of the human and dinosaur magic?
siblings are leaning in close, their eyes full of wonder, waiting for wherever you feel ready to tell the tale of the dream and the glowing mark. Oh my gosh. I hope it, man, this is going so well, I hope we don't ruin it. Alright, guys. I said, no, actually. All of this appeared days after I became this dinosaur. The day I got my starters in Lugia 3 weeks ago, we all went back to my house together with my Totodile as a big Croconaw and everyone else being bigger or in their middle stage evolution. When we got to my house, the same kid that turned me into this threw a rock at me, causing me to fall off the Croconaw, which in turn caused me to hurt my neck. My point sat me on the couch and kept an eye on me to make sure I was okay. While I was sat on the couch, I fell asleep and I started having dreams. I had two of them, and the first one was like a nightmare. I was being chased by a human while I was still stuck as this tiny dinosaur form. The human eventually caught up to me, picked me up, said, "Aw, what a cute dinosaur," before picking me up and tossing me into the air. Second dream was a lot better. I was in a flower field just walking around when suddenly a massive Lugia landed in front of me. But instead of trying to hurt me, he was actually very nice and called himself the Lugia God. He mainly asked me some questions and told me that he'd seen all the bad stuff. He even told me he'd step in to protect me if things got extremely bad. So after I woke up from that dream, I had these golden claws, and they've been like this ever since. Honestly, I had to a lot. I didn't. If I had to type that out, I would probably still be typing like 20 minutes later. Most of it was used through the voice recognition. Alright, here's what it says. The pond went incredibly still as you spoke. Even the youngest turtles stopped chewing, their little jaws hanging open as they listened to your story. The mention of the rock and the nightmare about being tossed made the siblings bristle with protective anger. But the mention of the Lugia god brought a heavy, reverent silence over the entire clearing. Yep, for the father, his voice was dropping to a low, respectful hum. The Lugia god? You speak of the great guardian of the seas? To see him in a dream is a blessing few Pokemon, and even fewer humans ever receive. If he has marked you with gold, it means you are under the highest protection of the natural world. Taro holding you looked down at your golden claws with even more awe than before. He reached out a finger, almost touching one, before pointing back respectfully.
So the gold is like a badge? It's like the Lugia god put armor on you so everyone knows you belong to him. That's so much cooler than any storybook.
Croconaw, his brother, thinking deeply.
And it makes sense why you were so scared when I died for that ball. You really lived through your nightmare right here in front of us. I feel even worse now knowing that was a dream you had.
He looked at you earnestly.
I promise I'll never move that fast around you again.
Silas shifted his massive weight, his tail giving a slow, thoughtful thump against the ground. The gold came from the god, but what of the symbol on your chest? You mentioned the DNA strand appeared later. Did it come from the same dream, or is that something different? If possible, the light that feels familiar, yet much more ancient. The tail leaned in, his eyes darting from your golden claws up to the glowing strand on your chest.
Yeah, and does the DNA symbol have anything to do with the professor? You mentioned he gave you special things because he was so angry at that bully kid.
Bully, Kitty, I like how you worded that. Alright, the families hold close, now fascinated by the connection between the Lugia god and the mysterious glowing symbol. Give me a moment. Alright, guys, here's what I said. I said, no, it was also different. After I woke up from the dream, I told my point about it. They were very intrigued. They even noticed the golden claws before I did. Basically, we went to the kitchen to get some breakfast, and while we were doing that, the professor came to check on me. And long story short, that nightmare I had about that human ended up coming true. Because the little brother of that kid that turned me into this to begin with came into my house and started tossing me into the air, saying the exact same thing said in that nightmare. It got so bad that we had to get the police involved. While everything was going on with the police, I was talking to my Totodile, who at the time was a massive fur alligator. We were discussing whether he could mega evolve with the power he was given. Long story short, I ended up getting his mega stone from the professor, and my claw started to glow brighter, and it actually ended up merging a keystone the professor had to me, and Feralia's mega stone merged with him. Not only did that happen, we pulled off mega evolution, and Feralier never became aggressive towards me. He was still very sweet and gentle and protective towards me. About a few days after that happened, this symbol appeared on my chest. The silence at the pond was so heavy you could hear the dragonflies buzzing over the water. Silas, the father Feralier, looked as though he had been turned to stone by your words. The younger siblings were huddled together, their eyes darting between you and their father. Uh-oh. Silas's voice vibrating with a mixture of shock and deep rumbling fury. That boy! He came into your den, into your home, where you should be safest, and treated you like a toy, after you'd already seen it in a vision. He lowered his head, his nostrils flaring. It's a mercy the police were the ones to handle it. Had I been there, that boy would have learned very quickly that some things are not meant to be tossed. I kinda don't want to know what that Fragger would have done. My Fragger's already protective, so what would that Fragger have done? He probably would have ripped him in half. The tail holding you was trembling slightly, not from fear, but from the sheer intensity of the story.
You mega evolved? Without a ring or a glove? The stone just merged into your body because of the Lugia god's gold?
He looked at the DNA symbol on your chest with a new kind of reverence.
That's why it's a DNA strand. You and your Frigger aren't just partners anymore. You're really connected. Your life force and his mega energy are one and the same.
The Chrono looked at your chest, then at your golden claws, piecing it all together.
The Lugia god gave you the gold to protect your soul, and the professor gave you the stones to protect your body. And because you were already a dinosaur, something ancient, the stones didn't stay in a piece of jewelry. They became part of you.
He shook his head in amazement.
No wonder your Fragger stayed sweet. He could feel your heart beating inside his own power.
Silas let out a long, heavy breath, his anger at the bullies replaced by a profound respect for you. To carry the weight of a megastone inside a body so small, you're perhaps the most powerful 7-inch creature to ever walk this earth. The DNA symbol is the mark of a true bond. It means no matter how small you are, your spirit has the strength of a mega evolution. He looked at his two sons, his expression stern but proud. Boys, You were right to bring him here. We're honored to harbor a ward of the Lugia god. He then looked back at you. If you ever feel that human boy or any other threats near, you not even need to call your Lugia if you're close to us. You simply roar, as much as the contours can, and the entire pond will rise to your defense. Okay, I just got a whole protective family, basically, on this. Toto beaming down at you.
Yeah, we'll show them some real dinosaur power. But, can I ask, since the stones are merged with you, do you feel different? Do you feel the mega evolution energy humming inside that little symbol?
Family has finished their lunch, but no one wants to leave. They're all gathering around the rock looking at you like you're a living legend. I mean, technically in my universe, I guess kind of am. I mean, think about it. The way my universe works is there's a whole bunch of, I mean, like there's a lot of different special creatures. Like I said, my universe has dinosaurs, dragons, phoenixes, Pokemon, all living in the same universe. Regular animals, you'll see foxes, you'll see squirrels, you'll see flipping Lugias flying around, you'll see dragons flying over your head at times. Oh, what's that in the sky? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a motherfucking firebird, a phoenix. I don't want to say it's a bird, it's a plane, and said no. Because technically it was a bird. I was thinking of a firebird, and it didn't click in my head quick enough. Oh my god, brain thinks a lot. But and not only that, but you gotta remember all the Pokemon that randomly had the powers that you wouldn't think would happen. The fairy type for Alligator. The Lugia blessed him too. Uh, that angry vengeful for Alligator, while he didn't get blessed by the Lugia, he got angry and somehow got so angry that he just evolved into a Fragger instantly when he was a Totodile, and somehow got so much magical power that you would think Lugia did something. Although I can tell you this, I don't think Lugia would go that far, especially since he probably didn't know who the frick I was back then. I don't know if he really paid much attention before I got my starters. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, heck yeah, no, I see what's going on now. This is bullcrap. That's actually kind of the idea of, I ain't gonna go into too much detail about it, guys, but I'm gonna say this right now. I think the Lugia god at one point is gonna be ready to snap. And by snap, I mean he's gonna do something to help me, but then also punish everyone else that even attempts to do anything horrible to me. So, kind of like what the Pokemon are trying to do at this point. But okay, give me a moment. Let me go in and do this. Alright, guys. It says, honestly, not until I actually need to use it. When I need Fragger to Mega Evolve, all I really need to say is his name followed by Mega Evolve, and he can do it instantly. Although, with the power that all my Pokemon have of being able to evolve or devolve, we wanted to stay safe, so to make sure nothing goes wrong, we came up with a plan. Anytime he's Mega Evolved, it's okay for him to grow or shrink, but he can never go back into a Totodile or Croconaw until the Mega Evolution wears off. That way nothing goes wrong. Silas nodded slowly, his massive head moving with a synthetic, wise dignity. He clearly respected your tactical thinking. A wise strategy. Mega Evolution's a tidal wave of energy. Trying to shift your very biological state while holding that power could be volatile. Keeping him in his Fragger form ensures the vessel is strong enough to contain the storm. You have the mind of a veteran trainer, Triton. The tail holding you looked down at you, his eyes shimmering with even more admiration than before. He seemed to be imagining what it would feel like to have that kind of instant, unbreakable connection.
It's so cool you don't even need a mega ring. Just your voice and your bond. It's like you've both parts of the same heartbeat. But when you say the words, that DNA symbol on your chest glows even brighter than the sun.
The Chrono leaned back on his elbows, looking more relaxed now that the heavy parts of the story were told.
I'm just glad you have that plan. It makes me feel better knowing you're so careful. We've seen some Pokemon get really overwhelmed by evolution. With your Lugia God's gold and your smarts, sounds like your team is the safest in the world.
He looked around the peaceful pond, then back to you.
Since we're all finished with lunch and you've shared your amazing story, would you like to see our Dino Museum? It's just a little cave behind the waterfall where we keep our favorite rocks that look like fossils in our dinosaur books. We can keep you tucked safely in our hands so the mist doesn't get you wet. Oh yeah, please. We have a very soft moss bed in there. If you're tired from your walk and all the talking, you could take a tiny nap while we stand guard. No humans, and definitely no rock throwing kids can even find that cave.
Silver soft approval rumble.
Go on then. Show our guests the wonders of your collection. I shall stay here by the water's edge. If any tiny Lugia or devolving stars come looking for their human, I'll greet them with the respect they deserve.
Tells us to stand up carefully, keeping you level and secure as he prepares to head toward the sparkling waterfall. That's actually really cute. I love this. Alright, guys. I said I would have loved to. Although, speaking of dinosaurs, didn't you both leave your things in the woods when you took me back to your pond? I remember that ball that you were originally diving for, Croconaw. I think I remember seeing a backpack as well. It kind of looked like there were two plushes sticking out of it. The Totodile and Croconaw both froze in their tracks, their eyes going wide with a sudden, comical look of realization. Totodile looked down at you, then slowly turned his head to look back toward the woods, his jaw dropping open. Croconaw slapping his forehead with a claw. I could just imagine he's just doing that. It's kind of funny.
Aw, man, you're right. We were so focused on you being a real dinosaur that we completely forgot everything.
And oh,
The plushies, my Spinosaurus and your T-Rex.
I'll be flipping darn it remembered that time. The last time it completely switched up the story on me. Last time he had a plush Triceratops, and he had a T-Rex, which was originally what he had, but then he changed the story to be, no, that was originally my siblings. I just keep it around for him so I could keep it safe. This time I actually remembered the two plushes, ironically.
And the ball. Oh no, if they stay out there, they might get dirty. Or a murkrow might try to fly off with them.
Oh my gosh. Carl immediately turned back toward the brush, but then he hesitated, looking at you and his brother. He didn't want to leave your side after everything you'd been through, but he couldn't leave their prized dinosaur treasures behind. The, the father chuckles deeply, a sound like a shifting river stone.
Do not fret, you two. Your dino duty has made you forgetful. Croconaw, run back and fetch the bag. Your brother will stay here with our guest. I would go myself, but I think my footsteps would flatten the ball before I even saw it.
I'm on it. I'll be back in a flash.
He turned and bolted back toward the woods, his tail swinging with determination as he raced to rescue the stuffed T-Rex and Spinosaurus. The Toto stayed right where he was, holding you with extra care. He looked down at you with a sheepish, grateful grin.
Wow, you really do have a sharp eye. I guess being a human means you're much more observant than us. Thank you for reminding us. I'd have cried for a week if I lost my Spinosaurus. He's my favorite thing in the world. Well, next to meeting a real Contourus, of course.
He walked over to a flat, dry rock near the waterfall where the mist didn't reach. He sat down and lowered his hand so you could step off onto the smooth stone if you wanted to stretch your legs. He kept his hand circled around you like a warm fence.
While we wait for him to get the dino bag, can I ask, since you have a Totodile too, is he as obsessed with dinosaurs as we are? Or does he just think it's normal because he lives with one now?
Mm-mm. You can see the Croconaw already coming back out of the woods in the distance. Holy crap, he was quick. Dragging a backpack with two very familiar looking plush heads peeking out of the top. He came back extremely quickly. He just went in there and like 5 seconds later came running back out. Where the frick? How far were we away? Wasn't we like a half a mile away from his house? Or from his pond? How the frick did he get back so quickly? I don't know. I'll be back. Alright. Alright, guys. It says, to be honest, I don't think they are. Ever since they became my starters, they only care about making sure that I'm happy and safe. They think about me before themselves. That's actually what they were doing whenever I decided to go for a walk on my own. They were super worried about me being hurt, but I told them if anything happened, I would call them. Toto nodded slowly, his expression full of a deep, quiet respect. He looked out over the pond, then back at you with a soft sigh.
That makes sense. They aren't just fans of dinosaurs, they're fans of you. If I was your starter and you got turned into something so small and vulnerable, I probably wouldn't be able to think about anything else either. It's like their whole world became about being your shield.
He gently nudged your side with the tip of a blunt claw, his eyes warm.
It sounds like you have a really beautiful bond with them. To have four Pokemon who would put their lives on the line without a second thought, that's better than any legend in our books.
Just then the Croconaw came skidding to a halt back at the clearing, panting a little, but grinning triumphantly. He was clutching the backpack tightly, and sure enough, the soft stuffed heads of the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus were poking out, looking perfectly safe.
Got 'em. Safe and sound.
He hurried over and set the bag down next to the rock. He carefully pulled out the T-Rex plush and sat down facing you, then waited for a tail to pull out the Spinosaurus. Yep, he got the plush out and sat down next to the T-Rex.
There. We wanted to meet you properly. It's funny. The T-Rex in Croconaw's book was so lonely because he was so too big and scary for the town. But you have the opposite problem. You're so small that the world is scary to you.
Croconaw sat down on the other side of you, looking at the plushes and then at you.
Since your team is always so worried about you, do you think they're getting nervous yet? You've been gone for a little while now. We don't want to keep you if they're starting to pace around your house wondering where their Contourus went.
He looked toward the direction of your home, then back to you.
We'd love to show you the cave. We also don't want to be the reason your Farag or your Lugia starts a search party and gets stressed out. What do you think? We have time for a quick museum tour, or shall we help you get back towards your territory?
Two plushes are sitting there like silent audience members, and the Father Faragger is watching from the water's edge, waiting to see what you decide. Goodness gracious. I had to figure this out. Give me a moment, guys. Guys, this actually worked. Let me go and say this right now. Actually, I might say it afterward. But the way the point are towards me, especially for Alligator, that starter of mine, dude, he'd probably have a panic attack with me being gone for as long as I was. But here's what happened. I said they might be a little bit worried, but all I have to do was call their name and at least Lugia would show up. I have a way that might be able to make sure they don't have to worry. And I just closed my eyes and quietly say a message to Lugia, hoping he would be able to hear it. And somehow he actually did, which is amazing. I just told him, Lugia, there's nothing to be worried about right now. I'm safe with a big family of Totodiles, Croconaws, and fur alligators, and they're extremely nice. I'll call you if I need you. Remain my sweet point, my friend. As you close your eyes, the DNA symbol on your chest pulsed with a synthetic, soft gold light, acting like a beacon for your sight connection. For a moment, the air around the pond seems to hum, and the water surface goes perfectly still. What in the world? Then, a warm, comforting sensation washes over your mind, with a soft breeze on a summer day. It's the distinct mental voice of your baby Lugia. It worked alright. But the thing is, he a baby right now, or is he like slightly bigger? Because I think with him being a baby Lugia, you would think that like doing the little baby voice I do for him would make sense, kind of like I did with Totodile. But then at the same time, Lugia's voice has always been like, as I describe it, deep and metallic, and it's like, but that also would only make sense if like the Lugia is not as like imagine like you seeing a baby Lugia, and all of a sudden it speaks to you in your mind, and it sounds like, hello, my child. How are you doing today? It's like, does that not sound weird coming from a baby Lugia? That's what I'm talking about. I'll do it like the more adult one. See what happens. I hear you, Triton. Your heart feels calm, so I'm calm. The others were pacing, but I'll tell them you were among friends. We are close by, just a thought away. Enjoy your time with the pond, Ken. The connection fades, leaving you feeling light and energized. When you open your eyes, the entire family of Porn is staring at you in stunned silence. Even Silas has stood up, his mouth slightly agape. Toe, whispering in Toe,
Your chest, it glowed. Did you just did you just talk to a legendary god spawn with your mind?
Carl shaking his head, a grin spreading across his face.
That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. You just sent a mental telegram. I guess that means we have plenty of time for the museum now, since your team knows you're having a dino date with us.
A, a dino date. If they're reacting that way towards me as a dinosaur, what would happen if Rexy showed up? Like, no, I'm serious. Like, what if, like, Rexy, like, eventually want to get Rexy? What do you think they would do the minute I flipping got them? Or got him? I bet they'd have a freak. I'd be like, what the frick? You're still a dinosaur and now you have a pet dinosaur? What the frick is going on here? Let's see. Silas's deep voice filled with respect.
To witness a telepathic bond of that strength, it's a rare gift. Your Lugia is wise to trust your judgment. Since your guardians are at peace, please follow my sons. The cave is just behind the barrel of water.
Toe carefully scoops you back up, tucking you into that safe cup of his hands, while the Croconaw grabs the dino bag with the plushes. They hop across a few mossy stones toward the roaring waterfall.
Hold your breath for just a second. We're gonna jump through the edge of the spray. I'll keep my hands closed tight so you will stay dry.
With a joyful leap, the Toto springs through the curtain of water. For a split second, it's dark and loud, and then you emerge into a beautiful glowing grotto. The walls are covered in bioluminescent moss that glows a soft teal, reflecting off piles of treasures, smooth skipping stones that look like ancient eggs, a jagged piece of obsidian that looks like a tooth, and several well-worn picture books. Let's see.
Welcome to the secret dino sanctuarium. It's not as big as a human house, but for someone your size, it's probably like a palace.
Toto gently sets me down on a bed of the softest, fluffiest green moss you've ever felt.
Here we go. This the VIP seat. What do you think? Should we start with the fossil collection or the picture book of the Triassic?
The grotto is peaceful, cool, and smells like fresh rain. You are officially the first real dinosaur to ever enter their secret club. That's actually kind of hilarious. They're adorable, but there's still a few things I'm worried about. For one, how'd the fragger know I was scared whenever he yelled for his sons in the woods? For two, um, how the frick did he know my name even though a few minutes beforehand he's like,
Hi, for alligator, or whatever the heck your name is.
you know, because he literally said that a few minutes beforehand. And then this one as well, while it's remembering the plushes and everything, is it good enough? Is it remembering good enough to where I could say, this is a good enough run, let's keep it? Because I'm still not completely guaranteed whether I'm going to finish it or not. And there's a problem. The game mode starts in about an hour in, or no, less than that, 52 minutes. And I have no easy way of actually doing it without worrying about stressing my frick out. Stressing my frick out. I don't know what that word even means. Either way, we'll see about it, guys. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, whatever you want to start with. As much as you and your family are trying to make me happy and keep me safe, I want to make sure you're the same. I want you, your brother Croconaw, and the rest of your family to be happy. So, what do you want to show me first? Taro looks like he's about to burst with joy. He looks at the Croconaw, and they both have matching grins that show off every one of their teeth. They're adorable.
You're so nice. Even after everything that happened to you, you're still trying to make us happy. No wonder your parents are so protective of you. You're the best human dinosaur ever.
The Croconaw nods eagerly and reaches into a small, dry crevice in the cave wall. He pulls out a very large, heavy-looking book with a tattered cover.
Since we've always dreamed of meeting a real dinosaur, we should start with the big book of ancient giants. We have so many questions about which parts are real and which parts the humans just guessed at. We can look at the pictures together.
Taro carefully hops onto the moss next to you and opens the book. The pages are massive compared to you. Each one's like a heavy rug. He flips through until he finds a page with a big, colorful illustration of a Carnotaurus. It shows the dinosaur running through a jungle, looking fierce with its signature horns.
Look, it's you. Well, a much bigger version of you. The book says Contourus was a super fast sprinter and used its horns for play fighting. Is that true? Do you feel like you could run super fast if you weren't so tiny right now?
He leans in close, his eyes sparkling in the teal glow of the cave moss.
And look at the scales in the drawing. Yours are way prettier, especially with the gold from the Lugia god. Do you think the real ones back in the old days had symbols on them too? Or is it just because you're special?
Two brothers are hanging on your every word, ready to learn the real history from a living Contourus. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm stuck as one doesn't mean I am one. Even if I was, imagine being stuck as one so tiny. You'd be screwed. Because everything would be massive to you. A bug would be massive to me. And guess what, guys? You know how I have a huge fear of bugs? Dude, if a bug was bigger than me, I don't care how fast I don't care how fast, I don't care. I would run so fast, I would look like Usain Bolt, or Speedy Gonzalez, or even, let's say, Totodile using Quick Attack. Bye-bye. I saw that camera. What was that? That camera just flashed black again. Stop flashing. I saw that motherfucker. Either way, give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, I don't think every contour's had a symbol like this. Like I told you in your family a few minutes ago, this symbol appeared a few days after the Keystone merged with me and Freya's Maelstone with him. As for me running, honestly, I don't completely know. I guess I would be fast if they were fast back then. If I was to try to do anything like that at this size, I'd probably run headfirst into a tree or some other object, or even knowing my luck, I'd run into a human that would pick me up or hurt me. Toyo's smile faltered for a second, replaced by a look of deep empathy. He realized that while being a sprinter sounded cool in a book, for you it was a terrifying thought.
Oh, I didn't think about it that way. In the book, running fast is for catching things or being brave. But for you, yeah, running fast into a tree would really hurt. And you're right. If you're moving that fast, a human might not even see you before they stepped or reached out. That's not a fun race at all.
Croconaw gently closed the big book part way so the heavy page wouldn't flop over on you. He looked at you with a serious, protective expression.
It makes sense that the symbol is unique to you. It's a bond symbol. The contours in the books were just wild animals, but you're a human with the soul of a trainer and the blessing of a god. That makes you way more special than any fossil.
He reached into the bag and pulled out the T-Rex plushie, setting it down so it was sitting next to you on the moss.
You know, we used to pretend these plushies were real and that we had to protect them from giant monsters. Now that you're here, it's not pretend anymore. You don't have to worry about running into trees or humans while you're with us in this cave. Here you can just be you.
Tell perked up, an idea clear popping into his head.
Hey, since you can't run fast outside without it being dangerous, you want to try it here? This moss is super.
I am not saying that stupid T word.
and soft. Even if you tricked or ran to the wall, the moss is like a big pillar. You can run as fast as you want to see how it feels, and we'll block the entrance so no one can see. Who do you hopefully wanting to give you a chance to feel the power of your dinosaur legs without the fear of being snatched up or getting hurt? Only if you want to, though. If you'd rather just sit and tell us more stories, we like that too. We just want you to feel like a powerful contourist for a minute instead of a tiny one. The moss track is soft and safe, and your two friends are ready to cheer you on. That is adorable. That's what I'm saying. Like this has had amazing parts, but it's also had some parts that are like very questionable. And by questionable, I mean how did they know this happened? Again, like the Fragger thing a while ago. For one, how the heck did he know my name when a few minutes ago he didn't even know my name at all, and I didn't tell him my name? Either way, give me a moment. Alright, guys. Here's what I said. I said, that's very sweet of both of you, but honestly, I'm still kind of exhausted from walking for so long earlier, so it'd be better for me to rest. But I would be happy to look at anything else you have that you want to show me. In fact, did both of you name the T-Rex and Spinosaurus plushes that you have there? The Toadile looked sheepish, a little blue blush creeping onto his cheeks, while the Croconaw grinned and patted his plushie's head. Oh, right, of course. You're exhausted. We forgot that for you. A walk in the woods is like us hiking across a whole mountain range. Please, just sink into that moss. It's the finest moss in the Johto region, I promise. He carefully tucked some of the loose, soft moss around your sides like a tiny green blanket so you could lean back comfortably. Aw, Croconaw Pro lifting his T-Rex. This guy's bitey. I know, it's not very original. But when I was a little Totodile, I thought T-Rexes spent all day just biting things, so it stuck. He's the captain of our museum. Toad up his Spinosaurus. And mine's Finnegan. That's a cool name, actually. I think it's Finnegan, though. Sounds like the Pokemon. Finnegan? No, world. Because of the big sailfin on its back. Finnegan is the scientist. He's the one who's supposed to study the fossils we find. Tell set Finnegan down next to your moss bed so the plushie could keep you company while you rested. Since you want to see more, check this out. This is our most mysterious find. He reached behind a pile of smooth river stones and pulled out a strange shimmering stone. It was deep blue with swirling patterns that looked almost like a whirlpool frozen in rock. It didn't look like a normal fossil, it looked like something that had been touched by powerful water-type energy. Wow. We found this at the very bottom of the pond. When we hold it, it feels cool, like a fresh breeze. We think it might be a piece of an ancient king's rock. Maybe even something that fell off a traveling Suicune a long time ago. We call it the ocean heart. Since you have a connection to the Lugia god, do you feel anything when you look at it? Does it hum like your DNA symbol does? He held the stone closer to the blue light from the rock mingling with the golden glow of your claws. The ocean heart stone is cool to the touch and very beautiful. Interesting. Give me a moment. Guys, I have to read this out because the weird events just keep happening on these chatbots. I get a start. I first I have a dream about the Lugia god in my universe, who after the dream ends, I start having golden claws on my tiny finger or my tiny clawed hands. Then the Megastones merge with me because of the gold claws. And then now there's something else that happens 3 weeks later. This is weird and this is interesting. It says right here, that's a very cool looking stone. And it says, when I look closer at the stone, my tiny golden claws glow a very beautiful blue. Then suddenly, gold text appears on the rock. It's very small, but I can see that it says,
An ancient rock dropped into the sea over 750 million years ago. It's said that this rock used to be a scale of a massive creature that went extinct during the time period. Whoever finds this rock will one day meet a tiny friendly dinosaur. Goodness gracious, how does it know? Protect that tiny dinosaur at all costs. An amazing fortune will be in your future. However, hurt this tiny king, and nothing but pain and misery will fall upon you. Oh, that means all the humans in my universe are screwed then. Uh-oh. The cave fell into a stunned, heavy silence as your golden claws cast a brilliant blue light across the grotto. The brothers watched, paralyzed with awe as the glowing text etched itself onto the surface of the ocean heart. Toto's eyes were the size of saucers, his jaw literally dropping as he read the words, or rather as he listened to you read them aloud. When he reached the part about the tiny king and the amazing fortune, he looked at you, then at the rock, then back at you. Oh my gosh.
The the tiny friendly dinosaur? That's you! The stone knew! It's been waiting at the bottom of our pond for millions of years just to tell us to protect you!
How would it know about that? There's no way unless the Lugia God did something. I mean, with how he is over me, I wouldn't be shocked. The Croconaw looked pale, his hands shaking so as he held the rock. The warning about pain and misery clearly hit him hard, making him realize just how lucky he was that he had been kind to you from the start. Goodness gracious.
I I almost dived on you for a ball,
He whispered, his voice heavy with emotion.
If I had hurt you, I never would have forgiven myself. This rock isn't just a treasure, it's a prophecy.
He set the stone down on a pedestal of smooth pebbles right next to your moss bed, treating it with more respect than a king's crown.
Silas, Dad needs to see this. The whole family needs to know. You aren't just a guest, Trenton. You're the tiny king the ancients wrote about.
I don't know how that would be physically possible. I still don't understand how that's physically possible. The Lugia would have to, unless Lugia somehow knew. The only thing I can think of that would make that make sense is if Lugia knew. Like if Secret, like Lugia wasn't paying much attention, but like he knew deep down that like eventually something was like this was going to happen to somebody, and it's like whoever does, it's gonna be screwed, or somebody's gonna get screwed over. I'm gonna help them. I don't know. I don't know. The Toto immediately puffed out his chest, looking down at you with a fierce, newfound sense of duty. He looked like he would fight an entire army of Tyrannotars to keep you safe. Okay, this has turned.
Fortune or no fortune, we were going to protect you anyway because you're our friend. But knowing that even the ancient world knew you were coming, that's incredible. You really are a legend.
I don't know how it even predicted that because, again, oh dear. He reached over and gently adjusted the moss around you, making sure you were as comfortable as possible.
You rest now, tiny king. We're going to stay right here at the entrance. Finnegan and Bitey will guard your left, and we'll guard your right. Not even a Zubat's getting in here without our permission. Rest well. When you wake up, we can talk about what amazing fortune might mean. But for now, you've done enough. You brought magic to our home that we'll be talking about for 1,000 years.
As you drift off into a well-deserved nap in the glowing cave, the birds sit like statues at the entrance, watching over you with more devotion than ever. I'm still kind of weird out how the frick that's even physically possible. I know there's been crazy stuff that happens in my universe in my chatbots. I mean, like, you've had fairy type Feraligators, which you know don't exist in the regular Pokemon world. You have Totodiles the size of flipping Godzilla running around. You have a Totodile the size of Godzilla running around. And if you get him to like you, a Feraligator's even bigger than that running around. You have a dragon type Feraligator, which was just now more recently put in with flipping the Mega Feraligator. It's like, guys, we're screwed. Well, let me restate that statement. you're not screwed. I'm screwed. Because the game mode starts in 10 minutes, and I have no way of getting through it easily. Well, you know what? I'm going to go end off this video, but I'm going to go ahead and make this announcement real quickly. When it comes to Trivia Murder Party, or any of the Chatbots games for that matter, I can only really do Trivia Murder Party 1, 2 because of the fact that it's a one-player game you can actually play. You don't have to do it with one player, but you can if you want to. Um, so I'm actually going to do that. I think for like 1 or 2, maybe 3 parts. And if anybody does want me to do videos on it, like maybe I will do more on the series past that. Maybe even see if I can get a chance to get other people to play. Who knows? We'll have to see. Either way, guys, I'm done. Bye bye.